Good evening, dear viewers, and welcome to a new episode of Business Insider. I'm Mohammed Abdulrahim. Tonight, we'll be talking about Egypt's national green hydrogen strategy. A very important field we are talking about, and that specific type of natural resources is one that is environment friendly and one that combats global warming and climate change. And Egypt is a leader in this domain globally, having hosted COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh in November of 2022. And Egypt is continuing to play a leading role globally in this domain, fighting global warming and climate change. And green hydrogen is an essential part of that road. And just yesterday, the Parliament agreed on and gave its final ratification to a draft law presented by the government on ways to govern the incentives given to the investors in this domain in green hydrogen, as Egypt wants to be a regional hub and a global leader in green hydrogen production. We'll be talking about this very important topic here tonight in the company of our beloved guest, Dr. Khaled Yussef, the Vice Dean of the Faculty of Navigation Sciences and Space Technology at Beni Suef University. A very good evening to you, Dr. Yussef. Always a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you so much, and the pleasure is mine. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Yussef. Allow us, please, and allow us, dear viewers, first to watch a report about our main topic for tonight and then come back and start our discussion.
As the global energy transition accelerates, green hydrogen has emerged as a promising and sometimes controversial solution to address climate change and diversify energy sources. Egypt has set its sights on becoming a key global player in the industry thanks to its strategic location, sizable domestic market, and plentiful solar energy. Significant motivators for establishing a thriving hydrogen industry include ensuring energy security and protecting against price fluctuations such as those triggered by the Russia-Ukraine war. Hydrogen also promises to generate employment opportunities, boost exports, attract foreign investment, and foster technological innovation at home. In contrast to previous Egyptian governments whose support for renewable energy production was insufficient, the administration of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi has adopted an ambitious, multi-phased strategy to meet the country's climate pledges and enhance economic growth. The green hydrogen strategy unveiled in 2022 during the 27th conference of the Paris of the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh identified key sources of future hydrogen demand encompassing fertilizer products, ammonia, methanol for marine fuels and energy exports, jet fuel and road and rail transport. Extensive and near the Nile River has been designated for wind and solar power generation with dedicated transmission lines to facilitate the transfer of renewable energy to planned $5.5 billion hydrogen project in Ain al-Sokhna port. The House of Representatives approved on Tuesday a draft law presented by the government offering a string of incentives to promote the production of green hydrogen projects. The bill aims to create an attractive investment environment to retain the current investors who have already signed agreements to establish green hydrogen projects and also lure more direct and indirect foreign investments. In August, Egypt established the National Council for Green Hydrogen to stimulate green investment. In November, the Council launched the National Strategy for Green Hydrogen. Under the strategy, Egypt aims to increase the energy generated from renewable sources to 42% by 2035. It also targets up to 8% of the global trade in the green hydrogen market by 2040.
Thank you, dear viewers, for staying with us, and thank you, Rasha Abdel Hamid and Abi Hussein, for the report that we saw. We are here with Dr. Khaled Yussef, the Vice Dean of the Faculty of Navigation Sciences and Space Technology, Beni Suef University. We listened, Dr. Yussef, in the report to very important developments, and just listening to the report, it seems that every month or so, Egypt is taking really big strides and is very serious about diversifying its renewable energy resources, about using environment-friendly energy. So the floor is yours.
Yeah. You mentioned a very important word, which is the diversification. Yeah, when we talk about the diversification for a developing country, for a country with a very, very critical strategic position like Egypt today, then we have a very important chapter in our life is diversification. Because you know that there are some sort of polarization within the whole world. We have two main previously we had two main poles, which is the Russian pole and the American pole, and now we have several poles. And at the end of the day, with either we accept or we deny, Egypt is a target, and we all of us know about that. So when we talk about a country like Egypt, the first focus as a vision, it should be diversification everything. Diversification in sources of fuel, diversification in sources of life, diversification in everything you need in your not only daily life, in your protection, in your security, in your aspects of development, everything. Mm-hmm. So diversification is a very important chapter that we need to focus on. When we talk about the part of the energy, it is very vital section in this chapter, very vital, let's say, objective for us as a country and for us as a people and nation, because energy is everything in our life. Energy is not only lighting, energy is production, energy is agriculture, energy is cars, transportation, everything, food security, everything is energy. So when you talk about energy, then we need to have a focus on a very vital thing that we cannot sacrifice easily with it, we cannot live without it, and so we have to take all measures possible, because at the end of the day it's a strategic security file that we need to protect very well, and we need to ensure that we have, for not only for today but for tomorrow, for the next generations, that they have enough security for the energy aspects.
So when we talk about a national council for green hydrogen, a national strategy for green hydrogen, this shows the keenness of the government and the understanding of the state of the importance of this file. Talk to us about the strategy, Dr. Yussef. What are the main frames of the strategy, and how do you see it?
Yeah, the strategy for the part of generally the strategy of the Egyptian government, I see it towards, as we mentioned, number one, diversification. Number two is how to, let's say, you know that we have a lot of stress on our economy from different aspects. So how to keep a sustainable economy, how to keep a sustainable country. Because when we talk about sustainability, it is not only the sustainability of the environment, it is the sustainability of the business, sustainability of countries and everything. Ensure the continuity of our life in a good way, in a good lifestyle, and protected and in a security position, good perceived by people and by nations. So when we talk about the strategy here, what we mean by strategy first? The strategy is what enable us to be in a very strategic position against rivals, against enemy maybe, and against also the challenges that we have in the future. So we plan, we develop, we design through this strategy framework towards a clear objectives. The clear objective, when we talk about the objective of a country, we talk about traditional objectives like how to
increase economic growth, for instance.
the economic growth, the food insecurity, and the measures against poverty. Also, when we talk about the strategy, we talk about strategic objectives. We talk about the military strategic objective to have a good defense. When we talk about strategy, we talk about the strategy from the sources of foreign currencies, because you need to ensure a sustainable economy as well. When you talk about the strategic objective, we talk about everything that give you a strength and give you a good protection against the challenges in the future. This is under the umbrella of strategic goals and objectives.
Right.
So you have to keep the balanced scorecard between the governmental goals and the individual goals as well. So you need to ensure that the KPIs that the government see it as an objective is also reflected as a key objective also on the individual goals. So this is also one of the strategic goals. And this is what is also let's say taken into consideration by the government. So when we talk about the strategy in the fuel chapter, you need to ensure, today the whole world facing, especially after the Ukraine war, face a lot of shortage in the natural gas, which is one of the main sources across the world. And so the shortage cause more stress on the other country that is not a part of the war. But again, it's a matter of one unity in the world, and it's a matter of unbalance. And this unbalance cause a lot of stresses on countries, especially the countries which is of developing economies, or of maybe not well conditioned economies. So this is going to be this impact and this stress is going to be doubled, and also this is going to be clearly felt by the inhabitants of these countries. So when we talk about the fuel as a source of fuel, you know that the sources of the fuel today is mainly two main sources of fuel. We talk about the fossil fuels, which is
oil and gas,
everything which in the carbohydrate cycles, like the oil and the gas, and everything coming from the mining of the earth.
Coal.
It's called coke, petrol generally, oil, the gas, the natural gas. All of that is fossil fuels, and fossil fuels because coming from the earth, from the deep layer of the earth, and this was the main source of energy for the world for years until the moment. And
this is the source. These are the sources that emit carbon.
These are the sources that has the impact on the climate change, and that has the greenhouse effect, because it causes an emission of gases which is not for our environment friendly, and cause a lot of harms for everything. The harms like the increase in the temperature, the global warming, and all of that stuff. So when we talk about the greenhouse effect and the gases emissions, carbon dioxides, carbon monoxides, nitrous oxides, and all of that type of gases are all has a very bad impact on our environment.
Right. The second type.
The second type is the renewable sources.
Right.
And the renewable sources, all of us know about it, like the solar sources coming from the sun and the wind, and such natural sources that the human beings or the mankind try to get it as a or improve it as a replacement to the traditional sources.
And green hydrogen is one of them.
Green hydrogen is another line. And that's what we need to focus, or the country should focus on, because the hydrogen as a gas is important, very important gas in terms of entropy, in terms of I don't want to go for some sophisticated scientific terms, good source, good content holder of energy, content carrier of energy. So you can generate a lot of heat out of the oxidation of the hydrogen gas, like the natural gas, may be more effective. So what's the problem? The problem that the hydrogen gas, though the hydrogen as an atom exists in a lot of forms in our nature, like the water has a hydrogen atom,
Right.
and a lot of the carbohydrates has a hydrogen atom, so it exists here and there, but its presence as a gas is abundant, is rare, scarce. So you cannot find hydrogen gas big time in the universe, but you can find the hydrogen atom in a lot of components and compounds. The simplest one, the water, for example. So the issue is, we understand that hydrogen is like the natural gas, which is fossil fuel, but the hydrogen we need to generate, we need to produce it. So when we want to produce it, it's a matter of we need to, we will not find it as a gas in the simple component, but we will find it in several areas like the water. So we need to produce it from extracting it from these forms that the hydrogen is located in here or there.
And that's
So
why it's a bit costly.
that's why, yeah, currently it's costly, but again, why we call it the green hydrogen? The hydrogen is important, but the question is all hydrogen, or all forms of production of hydrogen, is sustainable, is eco-friendly or friendly to the environment?
From the way you pose the question, the answer is no.
The answer is no, yes. Because we have gray hydrogen or black hydrogen, and we have green hydrogen. By the way, the green and the black is not the color of the hydrogen atom.
Okay,
It
it's
is not.
good that you're telling
Yeah.
us. Yes, please.
Yeah, it's not
I'm
the
sure
color.
a lot of people want to know.
Yeah, it's not the
Why
color.
is this called green or gray
Yeah.
or black or blue?
Yeah, the word green means it is safe to the environment.
Okay.
So that's we used to use what is eco-sustainable or environment friendly process. We used to call it green.
That's why we say green
And
economy. for
Yeah,
instance,
green economy, green
Building.
green building, and even green economy, even green.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the green comes from the color of the trees, because the tree is the theme of the good thing to our environment. It is the theme of things that take carbon dioxide from the environment and produce oxygen.
Right.
So they are healthy
Okay.
respiratory. So that's why we call the things which is healthy to our environment
Green. So what's the gray and the black?
The
and-
gray means the fossil fuels, which is
Okay.
coming from the fossil fuels.
Okay.
So what's the relation now between the fossil fuel and the hydrogen? Because when we go to the hydrogen, we need to get rid out of the traditional process of producing fuel, producing energy from the fossil fuel. But again, to produce hydrogen, we need energy. So the question is, how will we get the energy that is capable of extracting this hydrogen from the forms, the complicated forms it exists in? So that's the key story. When we talk about the hydrogen generation, then the generation process is the thing that tell us whether it's green or gray.
Okay.
Because I can use fossil fuel to give energy to extract the hydrogen atom, and then I produce hydrogen gas. If I produce hydrogen gas, then it's going to be easy to compress it in tanks, and then can use it as a fuel source. So there is no problem. But how to produce it, this is the key story.
Right.
So we use the process of producing the hydrogen gas from the electrolysis of water, which is a simple deassociation of the hydrogen. The water has two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen. This is
H2O.
H2O, yeah. So that's the component, that's the molecular structure of water. So means the water contains hydrogen, two atoms of hydrogen. So we need to deassociate this hydrogen atom from the oxygen atom. So this process, we call it electrolysis process. So how do we do the electrolysis process? From electricity. The second question is how we will get the electricity that do this electrolysis, then either to get it from the commercial lines electricity, which is also coming from the fossil fuel combustion, or we get it from the solar panels on solar systems and renewable source of energy, and then we can produce a safe hydrogen with a decarbonized way or a low carbon dioxide footprint way which is eco-friendly or eco-sustainable.
And that's the goal.
And that's the goal. And that's the green hydrogen production.
Perfect.
So we need to understand that hydrogen as a gas is very important to everything. And you can imagine that the first missions that use hydrogen as a gas is the space missions, by the way.
Yeah.
And we use it in the space, big time, because we cannot put petrol in the spacecraft and put it in the space. We use hydrogen as a fuel, or we use nuclear fuel. So, but hydrogen is more sustainable.
Okay, I think this is a difficult question, Dr. Yussef, but please, as a scientist, try to give us your best guess. So when should we expect that the production of green hydrogen would be less costly than the process that entails fossil fuels sources?
Yeah, across the last 5 years, the cost of producing the hydrogen is decreasing in maybe in 1 or 2 folds, by the way, year after year. Even the CAGR of the growth of using the hydrogen increased like 9.8, 9.2% year-to-year growth, which means the compound annual growth rate, which means that there is even the economy of the using of the hydrogen is becoming bigger. It reaches, I think, like $75 billion. So by 2018, something like that, if I recall it well, then this means that there is more appetite, there is more demand, and there is lower cost of producing the hydrogen, and we need it. We need it for some even difficult cases like the steel manufacturing. We need it because the amount of heat is very well to produce the steel and to melt and to reach it such high temperature degrees of needed for this process, for example. We need it for the ammonia gas process. We need it for a lot of industries today. So it's not, in some cases, it is not an option. It is mandatory to produce energy from the hydrogen. And now the question is, shall we produce it in a safe way or in a harmful way? No, we need to produce it in a safe way. That's the green gas or green hydrogen production process. And if we manage to produce it with enough quantities, again, because we will not find the hydrogen in the nature in a simple form like we find the natural gas. The natural gas, it's a matter of tanks of gas. It's a matter of potential well of gases. And when we discover it, then we do the process of mining and then we get it. So it's existing as a component. It's existing as a compound. But when we talk about hydrogen, it is produced. But it is more useful, and it has a lot of entropy or a lot of energy or power. Just if I put oxygen with it, then I will produce the energy. So just I put an oxidant with the hydrogen, and then I put it. Even some of the batteries technologies now is becoming hydrogen, nickel hydrogen instead of nickel cadmium batteries. The lithium batteries is going to be replaced by some form of hydrogen.
That's why some electric cars will depend on or what used to or the intended electric car.
The electric car in the not the near future, in the mid to far future is going to be operated by water. So no need for electric car. Just put water, and then the electrolysis is going to be generating hydrogen. And this electrolysis is going to be operated by the solar cell, which is covering the car. And then, which means that you, from the water, you generate hydrogen.
So we won't have to worry anymore about paying a lot of money for the gas.
You have to worry about water.
So when should this happen? I mean,
all of this are research today, and I think there are prototypes and engineering models that is produced by some companies, but still in the R&D process. But again, you can imagine the future of the plane. You can imagine the future of the ship. You can imagine because today we have this in the spacecrafts. Usually the space technology is
ahead, of course, yes, much ahead, way ahead.
So because the challenge is high, and the difficulties are there.
Yeah, the
So,
unknowns are
Yeah,
much,
yeah.
much more.
yeah,
It's difficult, of course, to be sitting with you, Dr. Youssef, and not to hear you talk about space, being, of course, as a scientist in space sciences.
yeah,
Dr. Youssef, the draft law that was approved by the Parliament has many goals. Achieve, help achieve the sustainable development, create more job opportunities, increase competitiveness, encourage investment, more production, more exports, the best use or the ideal use as close as we can to our resources, and so on. So should we continue in this path very strongly as we are moving right now? And if we do that, when shall we bear the fruits of all
yeah.
of this?
Actually, it's very good to maybe shedding the light of some of these points,
Yeah.
because when you are targeting that type of business, that type of economy, let's say, because it's an economy, it touches several aspects. When you talk in the file on the chapter of the green hydrogen or this type of fuel, which is maybe if you succeed in it, you can export it, you can depend on it heavily, de-stressing the dependency on the natural gas and the dependency on the fossil fuel, and this gives you a strategic position, as we mentioned at the beginning of the episode. The strategic position that you want to achieve in terms of competitiveness in the region, energy is one thing. So
Right.
it's not only achieving of sustainability goals, not only increasing or maybe doing some paradigm shift in the job creations and the job map in general. It's also putting Egypt in a very strategic position in terms of competitive position, I mean, or competitive edge, because it supply you with the enough energy that you need in every aspect in your life, either in the civilian applications or non-civilian applications. At the end of the day, you need energy. So this is, from my point of view, this is the most important objective that we need to focus on as a country, because we are not a normal country. Number two, the part of the sustainable goals is very important, yes, for us, but from my perspective, it comes not in the first objective as a developing country, because even our contribution to the part of the carbon dioxide footprint as a developing country, not that much like the developed countries.
Right.
They have to be more focusing on this aspect, though we have also to be more also focusing, but we have some points that is coming to, in terms of priority before this file, which is the job map and the economy development. We need this power and this strength. When we talk about the economy development, very important to gain investment if we have a competitive edge, as I mentioned, in our country. So the question is, what is the competitive edge? Is it a land? Is it an environmental condition that is in Egypt, not in other countries? Is it
Incentives given
to the investors? So, and what type of investor as well? Is it foreign investor? Is it local investor? So what is the benefit that should be given? What is the benefit that is there to give Egypt a competitive edge? So that's a question that should be clearly not answered but studied by all, let's say, by all involved and concerned parties in the country, to study well what is the competitive edge that Egypt could gain out of going this way, which is the green hydrogen. I believe in that is very competitive edge. I believe in a lot of advantages, but it's not a matter of an idea or a matter of opinion, but it's a matter of study. So,
Right.
so
You are referring us to R&D As it seems.
Not R&D study, but economical study, business studies, because here we are not talking R&D pure, here we are talking business and money, and we're talking about economies. So it's a matter of process. It's good manufacturing. So what is the edge we have? Because for us to be a developed or to target to be a developed country, not only a developing country, we should have an R&D. Yes, we should have an R&D because this is know-how. If we gain the know-how, then we have a competitive edge. So is our value add a know-how? If you have a specific land or a specific area like Suez Canal, like the logistics areas, this is a competitive edge. So when we talk about the advantages or the key output out of this, it helps or enable having a production lines, production process. It enables having a new job map. It enables achieving the sustainability goals. It enables giving us a very strategic position. But before all of that, we need to think of a competitive edge. That's my message.
Yes.
Not only
not only the location that we have. Of course, we have an edge. I mean, God has given Egypt an edge by default via its location in the center of the world. So that's an automatic edge. But you are looking for further.
I'm looking for, usually in any industrial process, the competitive edge, not only of the country, of the business, to gain investments and to gain more hard currencies and to ensure a turnover ratios in a good way. In terms of business, I'm talking about business KPIs, not only scientific KPIs.
Understood.
So that's a goal of the country today. So greenhouse is new technology. It's a good area for R&D centers in Egypt to develop some technologies to increase the efficiency, for example, of the production of this electricity, to use it, for example, to enable some natural resources like the solar in our deserts. We have a good source of solar energy because
a very good one.
Very good, yeah. So this is a competitive edge. So now we need to select the areas that you will build your factories, that you will make use of these solar natural resources to produce big volumes of hydrogen out of the electrolysis process. Instead of, you have now a nuclear plant being planned in Dab'a.
Yes.
So you can make use of this. So this is one of the return on investment.
Right.
Instead of just generation of energy for electricity purpose, you can use this, some of the side product out of these plants to produce hydrogen. And then you put this hydrogen in compressed form, and then you can use it as a source of energy for factories and for homes, like the natural gas typically. So you need to think, we need as a country, the chapter is very good, it's very precious, it's very important, but it's not only a matter of prestigious objectives or prestigious achievements, it's a matter of how to make use out of this goal set by the government, and to not only introducing but also to make a call for investors. Guys, this is our areas which can give you, for example, a competitive edge.
I'm sure we're going to be talking a lot more about green hydrogen. Sir, we thank you. Unfortunately, our time is up. Dr. Khaled Yussef, the Vice Dean of the Faculty of Navigation Sciences and Space Technology at Beni Suef University. Always a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you so much. The pleasure is always mine. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Yussef. Thank you, dear viewers, for watching Business Insider. Next week, same time, inshallah, is a new episode. Goodbye.